ADR, this is King Black, and I've been getting a few messages because I have mentioned this on my earlier videos that I am a U.S. Army veteran and have served in the U.S. military active duty, and I've had a few questions and emails that I received from some of the nation's future soldiers talking about basic training and asking, is it going to suck? How was it like? Was it hard? And I can only offer my personal opinion and my personal experience on the matter. Basic training, my recruiter told me before I went in, he said basic training is a unique experience. He said it's going to be fun and exciting, but it's going to be something that you're not going to want to do twice. If they had the option and they tell you you're going through basic training again, you'll say, F that, I'm out. And that's true, you know. No matter if you do it at Fort Sill, Fort Action Jackson, Fort Bragg. Action Jackson is just a nickname. It's Fort Jackson. Or wherever you do your basic training. And regardless of the branch, if you're coming from civilian life and you don't have anybody in your immediate family that's in the military already or has been, and you didn't grow up around that culture, it is going to be a bit of a culture shock for you. It's going to, I can't tell you by the end of week one how many people wanted to go home already in the basic training class. Because if you leave to basic training, you got a girlfriend, wife at home, believe me, it's going to be torture for you. Not only for missing them, but once the drill sergeant finds out you have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever the case is, boyfriend, if you're a female, husband, whatever the case is, drill sergeant is going to be pounding it into your mind, messing with you, joking around with you, that they're cheating on you at home, and they're going to send you a Dear John letter, and they're messing around with Jody. I remember one time during one mail call, the drill sergeant said, give me a push-up for every time Jody F's your wife tonight. And this dude, like, he really loved his wife, and that kind of got him mad, but he didn't do nothing. But I remember that a week after that, um, he got chaptered out on a psychological thing. He basically went about it the wrong way. He didn't want to be there anymore. He was missing his wife. He was tired of the drill sergeant harassing him like that. And then he threatened to kill himself. So he was placed on a suicide watch. And then I remember just one day he wasn't in the barracks anymore. But basic training, you have to remember and keep this in mind before you go. It is temporary. It's a temporary thing. Then you move on to AIT, and then you move on to your unit, and life keeps going. Basic training doesn't last forever. It just hurts the worst because it's brand new to you. You're not used to being far away from family or friends. You get this feeling of the world around you is on pause, but the world outside of the base just keeps on going. Like if you're stuck in some kind of weird time loop or something. Everybody's still living their lives. You're in there in the barracks, getting smoked, doing push-ups at 2 o'clock in the morning, getting up for fire watch, fire guard, staff duty, CQ, all that good stuff. And, people are still out there in the world getting their Starbucks, getting their Big Macs, looking up their Facebook, and you're basically, or at least during my time, you were cut off from the world. We weren't allowed to have cell phones, and I've been hearing a lot that basic trainees are now allowed to have their cell phones. I don't know if all the time or just on the weekends, but man, we didn't have any of that. We had these prepaid payphone cards that you used to call home, and you had the good old-fashioned stamps of writing letters. No computers, no library, none of that stuff. Basic training, If you're not prepared physically, the first couple of weeks is going to be a tough time until your body adjusts to that level of activity. So if you're not running, I suggest you start practicing running now. Practice running up to 2.5 miles. So that way when you're running in the military, my specific platoon, we were running 4 times a week. And we usually ran 2 miles each time for PT. After the stretching exercises, the warm-ups, go for a 2 mile run before chow, before breakfast. And believe me, once you first get there, I remember going for the first ruck march, which was only about a mile. And man, everybody was tired after that, having full battle rattle, having the rucksack on your back for the first time. Your body just isn't used to it if you haven't been training beforehand. And I was sore for about 2 days after that. And we did this in our new boots. And anybody can tell you, man, you should never do a ruck march in new boots. But in basic training, you have no choice. You can't break in your boots. You get issued new boots. And I had blisters on there for at least a week until my boots were broken in. Then after that, ruck marches weren't that bad on my feet. And the ruck marches start getting gradually longer. The very first one is just for you to get a small taste of what's to come. But by the end of it, you might have a 10-mile to 15-mile ruck march before you graduate basic training. And then you'll really have some fun. Especially for someone like me who did it in Fort Sill, we had plenty of hills. I've heard that Fort Bragg has even more hills. But believe me, when you're carrying 50, 60 pounds on your back on top of holding your rifle and full battle rattle with your bulletproof vest on and your helmet, oh, you're going to be glad it's over. I mean, your body's going to tolerate it by that point of all the push-ups, sit-ups, and running you've been doing. Your body's going to get stronger. You're going to get faster, or you should be. And the DFAC, which is the cafeteria, you better not be eating them donuts and cakes and pizzas and burgers, especially if you're a little bit overweight. You want to be lean and mean. Your body's going to be in a what do they call that? Caloric deficit. But that doesn't mean go all crazy and eat a whole bunch of sodium, man. You're going to retain a lot of water, and that's going to hurt you in the long run. But the main helping point I can say is remember that it's temporary. It sucks because you're cut off from everybody, but you got letters, you got phone calls, and you have times where the drill sergeants aren't always assholes. So just remember that by the end of it, they're going to treat you as a normal person. It ain't that hard. ADR. Oh yeah, one last tip I forgot, or two. One, don't be a blue falcon, aka don't be a buddy fucker, which means don't be constantly messing up. Make sure that your bed has those nice hospital corners. It's nice and flat. You should be able to bounce a penny on those sheets. Make sure your laundry bag is tied in the correct way. Also, never, ever, ever don't go AWOL, man. You only screw everybody else. And definitely, if you're going to go AWOL, do it by yourself. Don't be trying to convince anybody to go with you. And second, do not take any weapon with you, because you will place the whole base on lockdown. Believe me, you don't want the whole base hunting you down. Those are government-issued weapons, and that's a felony. I understand you may miss home. I understand things might get really tough, but you have to think about it as at the end of the night, you're gonna go to sleep. And while you go to sleep, nothing bad gonna happen to you. Everybody goes through it. Everybody that's in the service has gone through it. Many people have made it and survived, and it's nowhere near as tough as it was maybe 30 or 40 years ago, where the drill sergeants were able to put their hands on you, and even a lot of trainee deaths happened back in those times. So just remember, man, you are serving your country. You're getting paid. You're getting 3 square meals a day, and life will move on. Focus on keeping yourself squared away so you can rise up in rank. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't be getting no Article 15s. Don't be getting any UCMJ violations. Don't drink on any weekend holidays you may have. And you'll see that life is going to be a-okay for you. Don't be the worst and don't be the best. Because if you're the best one in your basic training class, the first time or each time you mess up, they're going to be all over you. If you're the worst one in your basic training class, whatever you do, they're going to be all over you. So you can't win. Even if you're in the middle of the pack, you still might get picked out. So drill sergeants, they have some excellent memory, and they remember who they mess with and who they haven't yet. And believe me, everybody gets a turn. Treat the drill sergeants with respect. Remember, they're just busting your balls. You know, they're hazing you. That's just the military way. And believe me, when you get to your unit, you're going to find out all about the grand military politics, all right? You're going to see how fun it really gets. But treat your drill sergeant with respect. Yes, drill sergeant, no drill sergeant. Always. They'll be bringing food into the barracks, especially when they do health and welfare checks, or when they come and do the shark attack and the second or third day you get there. That's going to be a fun night as well. Luckily, I was on the top floor, and we heard it all going down floor by floor, so we were already ready and just pretending to be asleep by the time the drill sergeants got to us, and we got the least of it. The drill sergeants were already tired. But any more questions, man, write it in the comments or just write me an email, ADR.